In the heart of a dense ancient forest near the kingdom of Kosala lived a notorious bandit named Angulimala. His name struck terror into the hearts of villagers, for it was whispered that he wore a garland of human fingers, each one a mark of his victims. Angulimala had vowed to collect 100 fingers to appease his misguided beliefs, and no one who crossed his path lived to tell the tale. His terror grew unchecked. Travelers avoided the forest, and villages fell silent in fear of his wrath. Yet deep within his heart, Angulimala carried a storm, a restless anger born of betrayal and pain. Once a promising student, he had been falsely accused of treachery and cast out by his teacher and peers. This injustice had driven him to seek vengeance against the world. One day, the Buddha, traveling with his disciples, decided to walk through Angulimala's forest. The villagers begged him not to go. "Master, no one who enters that forest comes back alive," they pleaded. "Angulimala spares no one, not even monks." The Buddha, with his serene smile, replied, "Do not fear. Angulimala needs my compassion more than anyone else." As the Buddha entered the forest, Angulimala spotted him from afar. "Another foolish traveler," he muttered, gripping his blade. He stepped onto the path, expecting the monk to cower or run. But the Buddha walked calmly, his saffron robe glowing like a beacon of light amidst the shadows. "Stop!" Angulimala roared, his voice echoing through the trees. But the Buddha continued walking, his pace unhurried. Furious, Angulimala chased him. No matter how fast he ran, he could not catch the serene figure. Exhausted and bewildered, he shouted, "Why don't you stop?" The Buddha turned and with infinite calm said, "I have already stopped, Angulimala. It is you who have not stopped." Angulimala was stunned. "What do you mean?" he demanded, panting. The Buddha's eyes were full of compassion. "I have stopped harming any living being. I walk the path of peace. But you, driven by anger and hate, continue to harm others. When will you stop?" These words pierced Angulimala's heart like an arrow. He dropped his weapon and fell to his knees. "How can I stop? My hands are stained with the blood of so many. Is there hope for someone like me?" The Buddha stepped closer and placed a gentle hand on his shoulder. "Every moment offers a chance to change. A single act of kindness can begin to cleanse a lifetime of suffering. The past cannot be undone, but the future is yours to shape." Tears streamed down Angulimala's face. For the first time in years, the storm within him began to calm. Angulimala renounced his life of violence and became a disciple of the Buddha. He exchanged his garland of fingers for the robes of a monk and his sword for a begging bowl. The villagers, however, were not so easily convinced. They feared him and even attacked him when he approached their settlements. But Angulimala bore their blows with patience, never retaliating. One day, Angulimala came across a woman struggling to give birth. The sight moved him deeply, and he rushed to the Buddha. "Master," he said, "how can I help her? My hands, once used for violence, feel powerless now." The Buddha instructed him to recite a blessing. "Since I renounced harm and began walking the path of peace, I have lived a life of compassion and nonviolence. By the truth of this, may the mother and child be safe." Angulimala did as he was told, and the mother safely gave birth. News of this miracle spread, and gradually people began to see Angulimala not as a bandit, but as a man redeemed by compassion. Angulimala's story reminds us that no one is beyond redemption. Compassion has the power to transform even the darkest hearts. The Buddha's unwavering faith in Angulimala's potential to change teaches us that forgiveness and understanding can break the cycle of anger and hate. Years later, as Angulimala walked through the forest where he had once sown fear, he reflected on his journey. The trees seemed greener, the air lighter, and the birds sang sweeter songs. The forest, like him, had been transformed, and as he looked up at the sky, he whispered, "I have stopped." The miracle of compassion had turned a feared bandit into a beacon of peace, a living testament to the boundless potential of the human spirit to change. If this story touched your heart, there's more to explore. Subscribe to Stories of Awakening for timeless tales of wisdom, courage, and discovery. Let inspiring narratives guide your journey of growth and inner transformation. Don't miss your next awakening. Hit the bell icon now.